Hey guys, I'm Kyler Wilson. Welcome back. This is another episode of 5 Films. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about 5 more films that you probably haven't seen and I think you should. On future episodes, I'm going to be doing other categories of 5. I'm just not exactly sure what yet or when they'll come out, but make sure to come back and tune in again. They will be out sometime soon. Now again, these are films that I don't think the general public have seen. But if you have seen them, by all means, feel free to go to the comment section below and let me know if you agree with me or not. So, to get right into it, and in no particular order, our first film is lucky number Slevin. Okay, so this film lost $7 million at the box office, and that is why I'm pretty certain you haven't seen it. It stars a myriad of individuals, including but not limited to Josh Hartnett, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley, Lucy Liu, and Stanley Tucci.
At last, my love has come along.
It follows Slevin, played by Josh Hartnett, who gets caught in the middle of a war between Morgan Freeman and Ben Kingsley, who are two old dudes who have been fighting so long they barely even remember why the war started. It's crazy, it's kooky, it takes all sorts of twists and turns, definitely worth a watch, and I myself own it. I would give it a 9 out of 10 if I thought that these kinds of numbers made any difference whatsoever. Okay, next movie up, and the last film that I remember Hayden Christensen being good in, that movie is Shattered Glass. I revoke my dig at Hayden. I think what the problem is he just picks bad movies to showcase his talents. But, I mean, if you're offered the helm of the greatest, most badass dude in the entire universe, it doesn't matter if you can do it. You take it. Anyways, Shattered Glass. This movie only had a production budget of $6 million. So, I would be shocked if you'd even heard of this movie, let alone seen it. It stars some crazy amazing actors. Hayden Christensen, Peter Sarsgaard, Chloe Sevigny, Hank Azaria, Rosario Dawson, Steve Zahn.
Loving you is wrong. I don't wanna be right. If being right means being without you, I'd rather live a wrongdoing life.
And it's about a guy named Stephen Glass, played by Hayden Christensen. And he's this amazing reporter that works at the New Republic. He's one of those guys that kind of seems to get the most perfect story every single time. Almost like it's
too good to be true.
So he writes this article about the Young Republicans convention, and it basically gets brought out that it's completely and totally bogus. So they spend the rest of the movie investigating the entirety of his work. The story's great, the performances are amazing, and it's based on a true story. And by true story, I mean that pretty much everybody involved with the actual story said that the movie did it pretty much exactly the way it was supposed to be done. Shame on you, Stephen Glass. Shame. So, I would definitely check this one out if I were you. I would give it a 10 out of 10 if that mattered. Next on my list. This commercial break brought to you by AMP. Not really. Play it to the bone. Okay, so here's the thing about this film. There are 2 kinds of people in this world. There are the people that love boxing films, and there are the people who absolutely despise and hate boxing films. So, let me put it to you this way. Boxing is in this movie, but I would not consider it a boxing movie. At least, not to me. I don't consider it that way. This movie bombed at the box office. It only raked in $24 million domestically. I don't even think that it had a foreign release, and it only made $8 million. This movie stars Antonio Banderas, Woody Harrelson, Lolita Davidovich, and also Tom Sizemore and Lucy Liu. Basically, Antonio Banderas and Woody Harrelson are friends who are washed up fighters and they're simply looking for their next big break. Well, at the beginning of this movie, that break comes, but unfortunately it comes at the cost of them having to fight each other prior to a Tyson fight. That's right, like, I'll eat your ear Tyson. They've only got one day to get there, and Lolita's gonna take them in her car. The problem is, they're both in love with her. And that is what this movie is about. It's funny, but dramatic. Happy, but sad. Check it out, I bet you won't be disappointed. 8 out of 10, again, if I thought that mattered. Next movie on my list is a movie called Moon. This movie is pretty special in that it was shot for only $5 million and it pretty much only stars 2 actors. On the one hand, you got the physical Sam Rockwell, and on the other hand, you have a robot voiced by Kevin Spacey. Okay, so here's the thing. I can't really tell you a whole lot about this film because if I do, it'll start giving away major plot points that will ruin your viewing experience, and I'm not okay with that. But suffice it to say, Sam Rockwell is on the moon working out a 3-year contract. He's mining some sort of energy source to accommodate for the growing Earth energy needs. His 3 years is up, but they ain't letting him go. And that is literally all I can tell you about this film. So go give it a watch. 11 out of 10. Easy. Okay, this last film is really geared for people who are in the film industry, but I promise if you give it a shot, it will not disappoint you. That movie is 7 Psychopaths. Okay, now this film was made for under $20 million. I did some digging, but I could not find an actual production budget. It seemed like anywhere between 13 and 15 million, so I'm just saying under 20. This film stars Colin Farrell, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson, funny how good actors' names come up so frequently, Christopher Walken, and Tom Waits. Colin Farrell plays a struggling screenwriter who is working to finish his latest script called 7 Psychopaths. He ends up helping his friend steal a dog to hold for ransom, and it just so happens that that dog ends up being owned by one hell of a psychopath of a gangster, and that is Sam Rockwell. And unfortunately, that's about all I can tell you about this film as well. Just gets too complicated, and if I talk about it anymore, it'll just start giving stuff away, and I want you to go see the film. So go see it, it's worth it, I promise. 11 out of 10 on the doesn't matter scale. Okay guys, so that's my time for this video. If you've already seen these films, make sure to go to the comment section right below. Let me know what you thought of them. If you haven't seen them, what are you still doing here? Go watch the films. But make sure you come back and you let me know what you thought. Was I right or was I wrong? Do you hate me or do you love me? Either way, I'll be here, so make sure to come back and let me know.